You might hear some of that or also see some brake lights this weekend as we get set for another round of weekend construction closures. But it's not all bad news. We're going to tell you about some brand new openings, flyovers next Monday as you get set for your weekend commute.
Hey there, good morning. I'm Patty Santos outside the Bexar County Jail where 4 men are accused of trying to steal $30,000. We're going to tell you what police say they did.
Temperatures have been really warm. They're going to stay above average through the weekend and into at least early next week, but there are some changes on the way, some good changes. We're going to let you know about them coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning.
Yes.
Everyone is awake now.
I was going to say, I hope that was the point.
Give us all a heart attack.
My heart's pounding. Well, thank you.
I saw Justin jump. I mean, he got like a foot taller. He's
That
like,
is my favorite prank, though. When someone walks in front of a car, you honk the horn and it gives them a good scare.
well,
Good times.
Good morning. Thank you for waking up with us now that we're all awake. It is Friday, November 14th. I'm Sarah Costa.
And I'm RJ Marquez. Thank you very much for being with us. And we're going to talk a lot about traffic, construction, weekend construction closures. But there is some good news on the horizon. But we got to talk about the weather as folks make their way outside on this Friday morning.
Some good news on the horizon long term in the forecast too, RJ. And yes, if you're walking outside this morning, just know it is warm, it's humid. You don't really need a coat. And I know that's such a drastic change from where we were earlier this week where we were talking 30s. Now we're talking 60s. We're talking humidity and we're talking clouds and maybe a little bit of fog too. So no, that's something you'll have to contend with as you walk outside, not only today, but also this weekend. So when does our next system arrive? When do we get changes? That's probably going to be middle part and end of next week. Right now, we have a time frame of roughly Wednesday evening through Friday morning when we could see some rain and yes, some slightly cooler weather at least. Rainfall, as it stands now, looks good during that time period. We're going to keep our fingers crossed because if you remember, this last system showed promise and then it kind of changed course a little bit. We'll see where this one ends up, but we're cautiously optimistic yet again for some rain here. 66 degrees right now in Converse, 65 Boulevardy, 62 Bernie, maybe some 50s out there, but as I said, it is a warm morning by November standards. 68 degrees at 9 o'clock, 77 right around lunchtime, and then you'll hit a high today of 85. That's running about 10 to 15 degrees above average. So I'll walk you through that change in the forecast coming up here in just a bit, and we'll talk about what that may mean for storm chances as well. But let's get you out the door this morning. Traffic Authority RJ Marquez has been tracking things. Any fog out there, RJ?
All right, Justin. Yeah, we'll check in on that in just a little bit. Mostly the far south side, far southern parts of our viewing area as we get you 6:02 right now. Quick check of our inbound drive times from the greater San Antonio area and some of our surrounding cities. Bernie, 25 minutes coming in on the far northwest side. 26 minutes coming in from New Braunfels. We did clear out some overnight construction. That was at 35 and Weidner Road. So good news. Everything for the most part has been pretty positive across many parts of San Antonio. Quick check at what I'm calling right now a little bit of a fog watch, if you will, on a Friday morning. Take a look there. That's 37 at Dunnup. That's going to be right there near Bronick Lake. And then 37 at 181 for all of our folks in Floresville. Traffic is moving along. No major incidents out there, but starting to see a little bit of fog kind of seep into this one camera right here. This is going to be much further south. 37 FM 3006 for all of our folks out here in Pleasanton. Starting to see lower visibility out there. We will continue to monitor and track the very latest when it comes to the current traffic conditions. And coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about some construction taking place on the far northwest side of town as they get set to open 2 brand new flyovers.
Hey there, good morning. I'm Patty Santos. $30,000. That is how much San Antonio police say 4 young men tried to get away with. Here's what we know this morning. The robbery happened Thursday morning while a maintenance worker was doing some work on an ATM. A witness helped police by calling the robbery as it was happening. Police were then able to track down the suspects in just hours.
The officers followed them from the original location where the robbery was happening. And so they followed them to a residence, and the officers asked them to come outside, and they came out without any incidents.
And the men arrested are Jack Bledsoe, 22 years old, Amari Wolford, 18, Quentin Graham, 17 years old, and Lavontre Simmons, 24 years old. They face a charge of robbery and engaging in criminal activity. We were also able to look at some other recent ATM robbery that are very similar. In early September, 2 people were arrested in connection to a robbery in the southeast side. Police say a suspect threatened people working at the ATM. Later that month in the north side, 3 men got away after robbing a worker servicing an ATM, and they got away with an unspecified amount of money. In August, an ATM worker was hurt during a robbery by 3 masked men. All of these incidents, by the way, happening in broad daylight. Coming up at 6:30, we're taking a look at the criminal history of these 4 young men arrested. Have they done this before? We'll let you know coming up on GMSA. Reporting live outside the Bexar County Jail, I'm Patty Santos.
Thank you very much, Patty. One of our other top stories this half hour, a suspect accused of shooting and killing his brother in Converse is waking up with a murder charge this morning. 36-year-old Darren Roger Jr. was arrested after an investigation found that his phone was connected to his brother's Wi-Fi at the time of the incident. So this all happened in Converse just a few months ago in July. A witness told San Antonio police that they heard gunshots coming from the backyard of a house. When officers arrived, they found a shattered glass door and a man dead from multiple gunshot wounds. Investigators also found the receipt for the gun that was used that was bought 2 days before that shooting. Rogers' bond is currently at $250,000, and again, he's facing 1 count of murder. Also this morning, KSAT's repeated coverage is part of the reason why upgrades are now being made on a southeast side street where several people were unfortunately killed. Now, city leaders say that they're already looking at whether more changes will be needed, including additional lighting and possible speed control measures. You see some of these families out there. We're talking about Southeast Military Drive between Old Corpus Christi Road and South Presa Street. Now, back in August, we first told you about how 2 people, including a pregnant woman, were hit and killed within days of each other on that same street. KSAT has stayed on this story from the very beginning, and we got a closer look at the new safety improvements the city has now completed to address growing concerns there. That includes bigger lights, a working crosswalk, and relocated bus stop. Those are just all part of these upgrades. One of the victims' family says this change has made a world of difference to them.
It's emotional and amazing. I'm really thrilled that, you know, after almost 3 months since my sister passed, that we finally got better safety measurements out here for pedestrians.
Now, we spoke with District 3 Councilwoman Phyllis Villagran. You see her right there about these upgrades. She says that 3 months is actually a pretty good improvement like this in our city, and that these improvements came pretty fast.
Well, 2 of the 3 former SAPD officers who were cleared in the 2023 shooting death of Melissa Pettis say they are not ruling out a return to SAPD. Alfred Flores and Nathaniel Villalobos say they're relieved this is behind them and are ready to get back to normal. Flores was facing a murder charge and Villalobos was facing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon for the shooting death of Melissa Pettis back in 2023. On Monday, it took the jury just 15 minutes to decide that all 3 were not guilty.
I would love nothing more than to serve my community again. And that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be with SAPD. It could be with whoever, or it could just be my every day-to-day life.
Absolutely, absolutely. I worked hard to get as a role as a supervisor, so I am looking forward to getting back.
Earlier this week, defense attorneys for the men told us about how they're also pursuing some other legal action regarding what was called malicious prosecution of these men.
I just hope so.
Now to new comments from Congressman Gonzales regarding the death of his staffer, Regina Santos Aviles.
Earlier this week, KSAT investigates Daniela Ibarra tried to ask the congressman about her death and reports that he and Santos Aviles were allegedly having an affair. Now, during an appearance at the Texas Tribune Festival up the road in Austin, Gonzales spoke about her death.
In politics, you better have thick skin, and you know my name's on the door, and so I'm not like people throwing rocks at me, saying ugly, nasty things. I totally get that, but the rumors are completely untruthful.
And that was audio there from the congressman. Gonzales went on to say that he didn't know what exactly happened. The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office ruled Santos Aviles' death a suicide by setting herself on fire.
Well, investigators are now expanding their search for a man connected in the shooting death of a 17-year-old girl at a house party in southwest Bexar County. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says 18-year-old Deshaun Suggs shot Elena Ujeda On Lucky Road back on September 28th, deputies found Ujetta lying in the street with a gunshot wound to her head. So witnesses said an argument had led to that shooting and multiple shots were fired. All right, we're taking a live look now over San Antonio International Airport. Now that the government shutdown is over, there's some great news for some TSA employees who've had to work through that government shutdown without pay. And Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says some will soon receive a $10,000 bonus check. So Noem handed out checks to nearly 24 TSA employees at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston. That happened yesterday. She said more employees would be receiving checks soon.
All right, 6:09. Let's talk some San Antonio Spurs. They will get a chance for revenge tonight against Steph Curry and those Golden State Warriors. So the Spurs lost earlier this week after Steph Curry put up 46 points against them. Game time tonight at the Frostbank Center, 8:30. It's a nationally televised game, so it's going to be a later start. This is all part of the NBA Cup. And get this, there's lots of college football games coming up on the docket tomorrow, and you can see them all the big games right here on KSAT 12. You don't even need to change your channel. Check this out. We have a triple header of college games that you definitely want to watch right here. All 6 teams ranked in the top 25, including that headliner right there, Texas taking on them dogs of Georgia. Justin.
By the way, I am very excited to watch that one. All right, outside. We've got cloudy skies, maybe a little bit of fog in spots. Sunrise this morning will be at 6:58, so it's coming up here in the hour. Sunset 5:39, 10 hours of daylight today. Another look at those rain chances in the weekend forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Justin. The story straight out of a mob movie. Prosecutors say that a family business was really in illegal sports betting rings, making millions of dollars, targeting Gen Z gamblers and even some college athletes. We're going to tell you who's behind it and how they got caught.
Wild pigs have long been a problem here in Texas, but now with our population boom, we're starting to see humans and pigs commingle, and it's not the best thing. We're seeing damage like this in places like Friedrich Park here in San Antonio. Coming up, we'll tell you what's being done to fix this.
Feral pigs may soon be coming to a neighborhood near you. Invasive pigs have long been a problem in Texas, accounting for $670 million in agricultural losses. That's a lot, but it appears that their destruction may be transitioning from a rural problem to a metropolitan problem. Here's why the pigs in suburbia are commingling.
This Helotes resident was sent running when he noticed this sounder of sizable pigs across the street. Conflicts with pigs are nothing new to those who live on the outskirts of San Antonio. But as the city sprawls, the run-ins are becoming even more common.
It's been amazing to me over the last year and a half, the more and more phone calls I'm getting from neighborhoods in big cities, medium cities, city parks and recs departments.
Jay Long has researched feral pigs for years. And he knows pig damage when he sees it. Here in Friedrich Park, just inside San Antonio city limits, you'll find plenty of signs of their relentless rooting.
This neighborhood here behind me sits right next to Friedrich Wilderness Park, and we're told that residents here have had issues with pigs rooting up their flower bed and tearing up their lawns.
That's usually what spurs most of my phone calls from neighborhoods. Is we've had 20 houses in the neighborhood get their entire front yard looking exactly like this.
But what exactly can neighborhoods do? Here's where it gets tricky. HOAs and city ordinances make it tough in a suburban setting. Long says trapping is often the best bet, but do know it can be expensive. It should also be noted that feral pigs, despite their large size, don't normally pose a physical threat to humans. It's their destruction to property and disease risk that makes them a real hazard.
Those diseases can be spread to humans, pets, other wildlife, other livestock.
Which is why Long hopes to see less run-ins like this one by creating an allied force against these unwanted visitors. Justin Horn, KSAT 12 News.
Hey, those things are pretty scary when they
can
kind of
be
come in
aggressive
little
with
packs.
dogs,
Yeah.
too.
They can, yeah. I mean, if you mess with them, they'll mess with you. They're very smart too, and that's why trapping becomes difficult. But as they move into the cities, it's going to be more and more of a problem.
They also multiply.
Oh,
Very
fast.
Yes.
Very fast. Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Okay, thank you very much, Justin. Very interesting stuff there. Okay, so Alex Gomez, we haven't been able to hear from him too much, but he is actually at an incident at Petranco Road. So we're just getting some information about this. Alex, what's the very latest out there?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. So it's going to be on Petranco Road, right near Dugas on the west side. And it looks like we do have a motorcycle that's on the ground right now. So it's reported that it was a hit and run accident. And right now they do have Petranco Road going eastbound towards 151 completely shut down. So people are trying to use this parking lot right behind me. But I'm going to see if I can get some more details from SAPD. But we do have a motorcycle down right here blocking Petranco eastbound lanes toward 151 completely closed, RJ.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Alex. Of course, Alex, first on the spot here, just gathering some new information for us as we have a potential incident on the west side of town. Now, everything else around the city of San Antonio is looking pretty good. Wanted to kind of focus in a little bit on the downtown area where we see that traffic is, for the most part, moving along. So if you're about to step outside, I-10, 35, been very busy as we deal with all that construction. Speaking of construction, we have got a couple of things to let you know about tonight, 9 o'clock through Monday, 5 a.m. Basically, we're going to have alternating versions of closures here. But the biggest thing you need to know about is that I-10 East, the main lanes through the interchange right here at 1604, that will stay mostly closed throughout the entire weekend. Again, it's going to be 2 to 3 lanes at some times. It's just I-10 East main lanes right here at 1604 are going to be a bit of a mess. But that's because on Monday, we are opening up 2 brand new flyovers here that are going to take our drivers from I-10 East, the Dominion, the Bernie area, the Rim, all the way to both directions of 1604. So the exits are going to be right there, La Cantera Parkway off of 1604, and on the other opposite end, Lock Hill Selma Road. So this is actually good news. Fortunately, got to deal with some construction over the weekend. But Justin, as we get set for weekend plans, obviously a lot of folks going to be out and about. How are things looking out there?
Looks good, RJ. If you're going to Worst Fest this weekend or wherever you're headed, just know it'll be warm, and that includes today too. 10 a.m. 73 after a little bit of morning fog, 82 at 1 o'clock, and we'll reach a high temperature today of 85. And if you're wondering, yes, that is well above average. A lot of that has to do with the dew point. The humidity, it's in the mid 60s this morning. That puts us squarely in the muggy category. And we're not going to leave that category until probably late next week. So just know it's going to be a very muggy stretch. We are keeping an eye on fog. Visibility down to 0 in New Braunfels, Pleasanton, Beeville seeing some fog. LaGrange, so far San Antonio has not had an issue with it. But if it changes, we'll let you know. Drought monitor came in yesterday. We have extreme drought for a large part of our viewing area now. This is starting to expand and stretch, so we need some rain. Will we get any? I think there are some chances down the line. Not anytime soon. We're going to have to wait until probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week. But we did bring rain chances up on Thursday, and here's why. We have an upper level low that swings through the middle part of the country. This one does not do anything for us. But there's one behind that, and the hope is that this one digs pretty far south, and then as it makes its way towards Texas, this could bring some rain chances. Hopefully Thursday of next week, as we said, that's probably the best odds. Although with these cutoff lows, these rain chances can kind of jump around. So stick with us, and we'll keep you updated. Mid 80s this weekend, 86 coming up on Monday, and look for mid 80s and warm weather with maybe a little bit more cloud cover, and again, those small rain chances by the middle part of next week.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Justin. 6:20 right now, 66 degrees outside.
What do mob families and sports betting have in common? Up next, how authorities say a notorious crime ring raked in millions illegally using young gamblers and college athletes to cash in.
In this morning's GMA First Look, allegations of sports betting and the mob.
Organized crime families seem to have a hard time breaking this old habit, so we're going to break it for them.
In New Jersey, prosecutors say a family business was actually an illegal gambling ring, raking in $2 million from 2022 to 2024. While sports gambling is legal in New Jersey, prosecutors say the alleged ring that relied on Gen Z gamblers to make profits through sports betting is not. The alleged ringleader, Joseph Perna, a reputed member of the Lucchese family. Alongside Perna, 13 more charged, including at least 2 former college athletes. One of them, Michael Chetta, a Rutgers competitor at the 2024 NCAA Wrestling Championships.
They effectively recruited younger gamblers or players that they knew would be able to pay up, or those that they could leverage payment from, namely college students.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on this sports betting scandal. With your GMA First Look, I'm Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
All right, pollen count. Everything's low here. We got low counts of mold, 210. That's about as low as it goes. That was yesterday's number. We'll see where today's ends up. We usually get that in about an hour or two, and we'll share that with you once we get it. Just asked Justin this morning. Our question is about intelligent animals, because we just talked about hogs or wild pigs, which are very smart. But which of the following animals is generally considered the most intelligent? Is it parrots, elephants, dolphins, or great apes? Right now, dolphins lead the way. We'll get you that answer here in about 30 minutes.
All right, and let's try and get you some answers on the roads this morning. Right now, the northeast side of town, not looking too bad for our folks. No major construction concerns. We do have some downtown issues that we will continue to talk about. We're also going to focus in on tonight's game day forecast. Game night for San Antonio Spurs on the east side of town. We'll break it all down for you coming up in just a bit.
Okay, it is 6:25 and 66 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 6:42. Tech scams are on the rise, up 50% in the last year. We'll show you how to spot them and protect your money before it's too late.
Finally, some changes next week. I think we have rain in the picture, and we could see some storms too. We're going to break it down for you coming up.
Expect to see a lot of these construction cones on the roads this weekend as we get set for another round of construction closures. We're going to break it all down for you and also tell you why. This is actually good news for our drivers on the far northwest side of town as you make your weekend plans.
Texting scams have more than doubled. We're going to show you how to put a stop to them and how to protect your wallet.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning. It is 6:30. Sorry, I was out of the way there. It's 6:30. Happy Friday, November 14th. Justin, it feels warm, but
yep.
RJ.
Yeah, so we are going to start out with the roads. Sarah, obviously, we're going to talk about some construction closures that you need to know about as you get set for your weekend plans. But real quick, want to give us our inbound drive times. 26 minutes coming in from Bernie right now, 24 minutes coming in from Pleasanton, even though we are seeing a little bit of fog out there on the far southeast side and south sides of town. So again, we'll be showing you those cameras coming up in just a little bit. But we do have an incident on the west side to tell you about right now. And I was noticing from Alex's camera earlier, this was over by Stevens High School off of Petranco. So let's go to him right now with the very latest on the west side for all of our drivers that are making their way through Stevens High School. Alex, what can you tell us about this incident?
Yeah, and you're taking a look at the scene right here. We do have that motorcycle down on the ground right here. It's going to be on the eastbound lane to Petranco near the intersection of Dugas. And I was able to talk to SAPD about 5 minutes ago, and they tell me that this was a hit and run accident. They believe that there was a work truck that ran the red light, hit this motorcyclist, and that rider now has minor injuries. He's going to be transported to a nearby hospital just as a precautionary, but we do have SAPD looking for that white vehicle that fled the scene over here. So just know that Petranco Road headed eastbound. That's headed towards 151. It's going to be completely blocked off, and that's where you're going to see most of the delays this morning. RJ.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. And also keep in mind if you're driving around Ellison Drive and Hunt Lane that we may see a little bit more activity than usual. Coming up during our next traffic hit, we will be talking about some potential fog in our area and show you some of the cameras on the far south side of town. Justin, our weather authority meteorologist, how are things looking out there?
RJ, I think you're on the right track there by looking there to the south because we have lower visibility right around Pleasanton and Bevo. Also, New Braunfels, we'll probably check some of the cameras up there too. We may see a little bit of fog, but here around San Antonio, visibility is still at 10 miles. And we saw this yesterday where fog just really wasn't a big issue. On some of the low-lying areas, you may see some. A great example of this is if you're going along 281, you see there in the Almost Basin, a lot of times you'll see fog right there. It develops close to the ground, but it's not impacting, we think, the morning commute at this point. Temperatures, 66. It is warm out there. 61 Stinson, 61 Port SA, 61 right now in New Braunfels. The moisture levels have increased, and that's going to keep those temperatures up. You can expect morning lows like these through the middle part of next week. Forecast calls for a high around 85 today. That is very warm, 10 to 12 degrees above average. And coming up, we've just got some new model data in on those storm chances next week, and things are kind of shifting again, which they will do until we get a little bit closer. We'll show the new information to you coming up.
Hey there, I'm Patty Santos. This morning, 4 men in jail right behind me here at the Bexar County Jail facing charges in connection to an ATM robbery that happened in broad daylight. San Antonio police arrested these 4 men. You're looking at video of them right now. Jack Bledsoe, 22 years old, Amari Wolford, 18 years old, Quentin Graham, 17 years old, and Lavontre Simmons, 24. They face charges of robbery and engaging in criminal activity. Now, we took a look at their criminal background and online records. Bledsoe, Wolford, and Graham have no prior arrests, but online records show Simmons has some charges of burglary, evading arrest, reckless driving, and unlawfully carrying a handgun, and these are just from the past 6 years. A witness called police to report an ATM maintenance worker was being robbed yesterday. Police were able to tag the men from the ATM to a home. They recovered a $30,000 stolen, and they were arrested without incident. This morning, we have also told you that there have been several other ATM robberies very similar to this, where an ATM maintenance worker has been robbed, even one that was injured during that incident. But this morning, this is a good reminder that if you see something, you should say something. Reporting live outside the Bexar County Jail, I'm Patty Santos. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Patty. 6:34 right now. Well, today investigators are working to determine how a person killed by a train ended up on the tracks to begin with and whether the train crew had any chance to stop. They're also expected to release the victim's identity once that family is notified. According to the San Antonio Fire Department, it happened yesterday on the northeast side of town on the tracks near the intersection of Interchange Parkway and Frat Road.
And today, San Antonio police are looking out for the driver who hit and killed a woman sitting on her front porch earlier this week. And changes are already being planned for the street where this happened. 70-year-old Janice Walker lived on a curve on DeFost Avenue near MLK Drive on I-10. Neighbors said DeFost Avenue is a shortcut between Commerce and I-10. And the neighborhood association held a meeting to find a solution to speeding in the area.
So we just got speed bumps in for Honey and Gay Street. In Sprigsdale, they do have speed bumps, but theirs have been there for a while. But when they put them in, they didn't do DeFrost Street.
It's a shame that a tragedy would have to happen for us to get more involved in looking at doing another traffic study, but we've already filled out the application for another traffic study to do DeFrost Street.
So the driver left the scene before police arrived. If you have any information about the crash, you're urged to call SAPD.
Okay, a story we've been following up on here. Take a look at these suspects to my left. We've just learned this morning that one person is now in custody and 2 others are still wanted after 2 separate shootings rocked San Marcos over the Halloween weekend. The violence left 1 person dead and 3 others injured. Now, police say that the first shooting happened downtown near Kissing Alley when 2 groups passed each other and an argument erupted. Patrick Dave Anderson is wanted for firing multiple shots and killing 19-year-old Ronnie Hernandez Jr. and injuring 2 other people. The second shooting happened on November 2nd at the Outpost Apartments, where a fight turned deadly near the apartment pool. DeAndre Houston was arrested for aggravated assault. John Anthony Chucky Contreras is now wanted for attempted capital murder. Police are urging anyone with information to call the San Marcos Police Department or Crime Stoppers.
Happening today, the Metro SA Chamber is hosting its annual Economic Development Symposium from 8 o'clock this morning to 11 a.m. Panelists include names like former San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg and the city's manager Eric Walsh. The symposium will feature conversation about growth, investment, and innovation, driving our local economy and downtown revitalization.
Okay, taking a look at some of your morning headlines, where nearly $10,000 worth of trading cards, yes, cards, were stolen from a New York City shop that's owned by NFL great Tom Brady. Police say that the suspect tried to use a credit card to buy baseball and Pokemon cards, but his card was declined. He's now accused of bypassing the denial in the store's credit card machine without the employee's knowledge. Police are still searching for that suspect. Okay, Blue Origin launched its massive new Glenn rocket carrying 2 NASA spacecrafts that are now headed to Mars. This was the rocket's second flight, and both Blue Origin and NASA are hoping that it's the future for getting people and supplies to the moon. The launch from Cape Canaveral in Florida was delayed by 4 days and by bad weather, also solar storms that lit up the skies with all of those northern lights that we saw earlier all the way down to Florida. Okay, get this. All my Cheetos lovers, listen up. Cheetos and Doritos are going naked. Check this out. PepsiCo is making some changes here and launching a new version of these popular snacks without artificial flavors or dyes. That means that they'll have a natural pale color instead of the bright orange one that a lot of folks are used to. The company says the Simply Naked snacks will taste just like the originals, which will still be available, and you'll be able to find them. Those Dorito Nacho Cheese, also Cool Ranch plus Cheeto Puffs, and Flaming Hot Cheetos, which we know San Antonio loves, hitting stores next month.
How can you not like Flaming Hot Cheetos? It's a legitimate question. We've got clouds rolling through this morning. Low clouds, indication of a lot of humidity out there, and we're going to be well above average today, but it's not just us, a large portion of the country. How far above average will we go? It is going to get rather hot. We'll show you the forecast coming up.
All right, and we're tracking an accident on the west side of town that involved a motorcyclist. This is going to be over by Stevens High School off of 151 in Petranco. So we will give you the very latest. Our photojournalist Alex Gomez on the ground to break it all down for you as you make your way out on this Friday morning.
At home and around the world, text messages are a good way for family and friends and scammers to reach you. Consumer Reports says you might be surprised as to who's being targeted the most, what they and all of us can do to keep our money and personal information safe. Welcome back. I'm Pashada Pope. This morning we're talking about text scams. We all get them and they're annoying. This year, text scams have gone up 50% compared to last year. And that's according to Consumer Reports. Don't worry. Here's the 5 steps you can take to help reduce the number of text scams that come to your phone. Whether it's a text that looks like it's from your bank or a bogus bill from a toll road, if you think you're getting more unsolicited texts and messages, you're right. The new Consumer Reports Cyber Readiness Report finds text scam attempts are up by 50%. And this might surprise you. They're growing the fastest among Gen Z.
Scammers are trying to rip off young adults.
18 to 29-year-olds are getting scammed at record levels, and reports of text scam attempts from Gen Zers tripled.
And it makes sense. They text a lot. It's a primary form of communication, and they have instant access to money on their phone.
Lower-income households were 3 times as likely to lose money from scams, and the racial divide is striking too. 37% of Black Americans who ran into a scam lost money compared to just 15% of white Americans. According to the Federal Reserve, a larger share of white adults use credit cards compared to Black adults.
Credit cards are safer than many other payment methods because you have a right to request a chargeback when fraudulent transactions occur. Consumers who do not use credit cards have fewer rights to dispute fraud when it occurs.
So how can you protect your money? First, don't reply to random or unsolicited texts. Responding confirms your number is active, so fraudsters might keep bugging you or sell your number. Instead, block the number and mark it as spam. Next, cut down on text spam before it reaches you. Check with your phone carrier. Most offer free tools to filter or block unwanted messages. Also, watch out for phishing scams. Be suspicious of requests for personal information from text, emails, or messaging apps. If the message seems urgent or time-sensitive, that's another red flag. Finally, when shopping online, use a credit card. Payment apps like Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle usually don't offer the same purchase protections. One additional piece of protection, use a password manager. That way you have a strong, unique password for each account. Pashada Pope, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you for that, Pashada. Coming up on 6:45 right now. Quick update on the situation on the west side of town where we had a crash that involved a motorcyclist. Our Alex Gomez reporting on the ground that things have actually cleared out over here by Stevens High School. So we should see traffic start to move along Petranco Road. But again, just give those emergency officials some time to clear out some of those incidents, that incident out there. 37 right here on the far southern part of our viewing area. This is going to be Pleasanton. You see that we are seeing some delays out here due to this blanket of fog that's making its way way through that part of the city of Pleasanton over by FM 3006. So something that we are continuing to monitor and track out there. We've seen that fog get a little bit thicker for our drivers along 37. A little bit further up the road here, 37 at Donnup. That's by Bronick Lake. See that looks actually that camera may have been a little bit stuck there, but you see kind of that fog in the background there. There's a quicker shot there at 37 at 181 for all of our drivers in the Floresville area. This camera, Justin pointed out to me, take a look. This is on the southeast side right now, kind of with that fog there in the background there. 37 at 410 on the southeast side. No major delays, but still something that we will continue to track as we get into our 7 o'clock hour. I want to talk about this, though. Weekend construction tonight, 9 o'clock through 5 a.m. The I-10, the eastbound main lanes will mostly be shut down throughout the entire weekend. That's because we're getting 2 brand new flyovers that are opening Monday morning. By the time we get to the morning rush hour, that'll take you from I-10 east over to both directions of 1604. So this is actually good news. Unfortunately, we got to deal with some of that weekend construction. All right, let's go to our Weather Authority meteorologist, Justin Horn, for a check of the, oh no, you know what? We're actually going to go to pickup lines next. All right, let's go there. Sarah?
All right, this week on Pickup Lines, a candid conversation with former San Antonio First Lady Erica Prosper-Nierenberg. Her husband, Ron, is set to make a big announcement tomorrow, which reportedly involves a run next year for Bexar County Judge. So Erica is a force in her own right, wife, mother, the owner of 4 college degrees and a senior level job at HEB. She was born in Weslaco and by the age of 5 was a farm worker, walking the fields and helping to pick crops with her extended family members.
I was in charge of bringing the tijeras,
scissors,
up and down to people who needed them, or water when I was little. And then as I got older and I was able to actually hold scissors or a hoe, I was then put to actual work.
Onions, I know you picked, or you grab onions and then you tap them, you knock the soil off.
In this episode, Erica also opens up about never meeting her biological father, being adopted out of foster care, and what impressed her most about her husband, Ron Nierenberg, when they first started dating. The latest episode of Pickup Lines premieres at 5:30 and replays at 7:30 this evening on the free KSAT Plus app, or you can watch it now on KSAT.com. Just search Pickup Lines. Well, this Thanksgiving, San Antonio's Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner, a longtime holiday tradition, gearing up to serve a record crowd of 29,000 people this year, up from 25,000 meals thanks to increased need and economic challenges.
Yeah, this event right here in San Antonio is a heartwarming example of community care and holiday spirit in action, and they could definitely use your help. KSAT Community is hosting a live phone bank on November 17th. That's when you can call in and make a donation to support this important mission.
So if you want to help make sure no one goes hungry this holiday season, this is a great way to give back. We've got more information. Just head to ksatcommunity.com.
All right, guys, I want to go back to a TransGuide shot that RJ was just showing here a few minutes ago. I think it's so cool because you can actually see the fog there right along the ground. And I've seen it kind of spread in this direction, but that is the definition of ground fog. So it's not a situation where traffic is really being impacted, but if you have areas of vegetation and you'll just see some of that fog kind of develop low to the ground. We're probably seeing that in and around San Antonio this morning. But again, it's not having major impacts on our travel or anything like that. Pleasanton is reporting some fog. Visibility is down a little bit in New Braunfels, although it's improving. LaGrange, Victoria, and Beeville, other spots where fog may be a brief issue this morning. Let's go outside to the airport. Certainly no fog here, but we do have that low morning cloud deck. It's a little thicker over the airport. I just walked outside here. It's not as thick, but bottom line, we're going to see some of these morning clouds hanging around for a little while this morning. 66 degrees at the airport, 61 New Braunfels, 66 Converse, 63 in Boerne. And I think those clouds will eventually probably go away mid-morning, and you'll see lots of sun this afternoon, which will boost those temperatures. And this is impressive. This is the temperature departure from average. So how far above temperatures are than the average number. And it's not just us that's really warm. It's a large portion of the country, up and down the plains for sure. And as we go forward in time here, this is Sunday, We stay above average, in some cases 10 to 20 degrees above average, which is really, really impressive for November. And that will also be the case early next week. So this warmth is not going anywhere, at least anytime soon. 65 at 10 o'clock, still some patchy fog, some morning clouds. I think we turn mostly clear by, say, 10, 11 o'clock, and then sunny by noontime, 80, and then we top out at 85. Warm day and a warm weekend, too. Going to Worst Fest? Should be nice, just, a little warm, especially during the afternoons. 85 both Saturday and Sunday. Humid, too, I might add. But no rain in the forecast this weekend for whatever plans you may have there. It's going to look pretty similar to today. Very quickly, I do want to walk you through the futurecast here. We have one storm system that moves across the middle part of the country. Has no rain for us, but it's this next one, digs a little bit further south, and I promised we get some new model data in, and we have, and guess what? It's slowing this thing down a little bit. So if that's the case, we may see rain chances drift into Friday of next week, and that's the way these things go. I got to tell you, these cutoff lows are so tricky to forecast. The timing, the strength will change before we are able to really nail down this forecast. But at the moment, we're going to leave in that 40% chance of rain Thursday. I would say please stick with us, and we'll get you updated on this extended forecast as we go forward. But a lot of heat, at least for November, coming up in that extended forecast there. All right, our Just Ask Justin question this morning has to do with intelligent animals, because I did the story on the pigs, and I know pigs are very smart, but they don't make the top 5. Depending on which source you're looking at here. So which of the following animals is generally considered the most intelligent? Parrots, elephants, dolphins, or great apes? What do you think?
I don't know, because the internet says all of them.
So you Googled it.
Yes, of course. What do you think our viewers are doing too? We're all Googling.
That's fair.
She doesn't mind admitting it. I'm going to go dolphins, Justin. I believe they also communicate through like sonar frequencies. So you know what?
You
Anything
just
like that.
Googled that.
I did not.
Yes,
Anything like that.
Right, well,
I'm going with the dolphins.
answer here. And by and large, if you talk to a lot of scientists, and this is some research here, it is great apes.
Okay.
Now, this is debatable.
What are your resources?
So chimpanzees and orangutans are typically believed to be some of the smartest animals. Now, dolphins are a close number 2. Elephants are there too. Crows and ravens 4, parrots 5, and then you got pigs, dogs, and octopi there from 6 to 8.
Lots of debate here.
Yeah,
there is going to be some debate.
Great question today.
Don't
Thank
email.
you.
Good one.
Don't email it. Thank you, Justin. All right, 6:52, 66 degrees ahead on GMSA Plus.
That's right. Artificial intelligence, or AI, playing a greater role in everything from homework to jobs and even romantic companionship. We're going to tell you how some companies are now looking to protect people from the possible dangers that come with that.
Good morning, everyone. We are dealing with temperatures in the mid-60s right now. Some patchy fog out there, although here in San Antonio has not been a big issue. So by 9 o'clock, we're at 68, 77 at 11 o'clock, and a high temperature today of 85. It will be warm and it will be humid. That'll be the case this weekend, too. And then we get into some rain chances by the middle and end of next week, but very November-like temperatures. Join us for GMSA Plus next. The latest news, weather, and traffic's coming your way.